What is up, you guys? It's your boy Captain Jack. We are out on the Jupiter 31. We got Armand, Scott, and our buddy Zeke. We actually already got into the fish, and I'm gonna roll on that footage right now. All right, you guys, welcome underwater and welcome to the voiceovers. Now, this is Scott's camera, and he is making a drop. We start off pretty deep, and he actually does a really good job on this dive. Goes all the way to the bottom, and that's his goal. He's kind of scanning, twirling, looking for hopefully a mutton off in the distance. In this day, we get a ton of different variety of diving. We have clear water, we have murky water, we have shallow, we have deep. In this day, I'm diving really well, and there's also a product that I'm using that makes things super safe. So make sure you stay tuned for that once I hop back in the water. So now he gets down to the bottom, he's kind of scanning, does a little bit of grunting, really hoping that a mutton or maybe a grouper or something shows up. And you can see how slow his movements are. He maybe right there, I think he spots a mutton kind of off in the distance. He's hoping it comes in, extends his gun, and it puts a lights out stone shot. And that is an epic way to start the day. And we get to start filling this fish bag, which I'm really stoked about. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And also, potentially, you guys might be interested in getting one yourself. And I'll show reasons why throughout the video. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. All right, you guys, I'm going to show you a little hack. And it is this. Check it out. It is this buffalo gear. This is a fish bag, and Scott actually just shot a fish. And we're gonna show you how easy it is to use this thing, and I'll show you the perks and why we actually use it. Chuck him in the esky. There we go, baby. So that is the huge benefit of using the fish bag. You don't dirty up the coolers. You can transfer fish around, and also you can bring the cooler anywhere on the boat with you. You can bring it next to you if you're a driver. You can bring it up to the front. You can do whatever you need with it. And then you can also reapply ice and you can brine. It's just a huge advantage having that fish bag. So I will leave a link in the description below. Be sure to check it out. It is probably one of my favorite purchases ever. And the buffalo gear bags are super affordable. That's the best part. So link will be in the description below. Also a discount code. Go get you guys some. Now it's time to suit up, and I'll see you guys in the water. So now that I'm in the water, we are switching gears a little bit, and you can see that my gun is it was dangling down there. So what I have is I have about a 15-foot line attached to my gun, and it is attached to a little marker buoy, and it kind of floats above me, and it does actually float my gun. I'm kind of in the middle of making different adjustments to it that, you know, I'm kind of it's in beta testing, but it is something I'm going to sell. It's going to be a way better way to dive, keep you a lot safer, and all the guys on this trip were extremely impressed and were happy that I was diving with it. And by the end of the trip, we ended up taking turns switching it from gun to gun just so we can mark each other down there. And I use a high vis buoy. And when you get just out of visibility, or if it's just a little hard to make out someone, it's always good to throw on your gun. And it's really kind of out of the way. It's not attached to you. You're not going to get wrapped up in it. And another thing is, if you do let your gun go, it's a high-vis float that will float your gun. So if for some reason your gun does get cut off or something like that, your gun will float to the surface. Even if it does have the shaft on it and there's enough line, you know, say the gun rips out of your hand, it'll float mid-water column, much easier for you to see if the viz isn't that great. So a very good tool, safe thing that I wanted to use. And on this drop, I don't really see a lot. I'm kind of just letting the current bump me across this wreckage. And you see that there is life, but just nothing really to shoot. That was a horseye jack. I was honestly thinking it was a mangrove snapper, but I always have my eyes peeled, looking around, panning around, do actually kind of a longer dive than I thought it was gonna be. And off in the distance, I saw Scott shoot a yellowjack, and now I know we are in the meat. So dinner is definitely not a question. We're gonna get dinner, and fingers crossed we get enough for our family and friends, and also dinner for hopefully the week. That was weird. He like stoned him and then he came back to life and then died.
That was weird. Their dive center. Fucking asshole.
Luckily, we had time to make one more dive on this drift before it ended. And it's always a good idea to dive the beginning of the wreck, the middle of the wreck, and also wait a little bit, and there's usually stuff hanging out after wreckage. So, and you see these, we kind of drifted into the sand and we ended up coming on this structure that was just leftover debris from the wreck, the original wreck, and I decided to make a drop to the sand, and that's usually the best option. Go all the way down to the sand. There's a high chance a mutton will be off in the distance, and the day kind of started a little slow for us. Diving was really good. Like, we were diving really well, super safe. I even threw my throw flasher on this dive, hoping that something would come into it. These little jacks came in, that little shark off in the distance came in, and the life was teeming around me, but no predator fish, no muttons, no groupers, no predator pelagic fish, or at least nothing worth shooting. There are these little rudder fish that were cruising around me, these little almacos, but no fish that I really wanted to shoot, especially since we have mutton and yellowjack. We're kind of at the point where we're going to be extremely selective, and I think it's about time to move to a different spot. All right, we got on the YJs. Yeah.
Yellow party.
Shovel check. Let's go. Now it was time to switch gears, and we go into a little bit of a deeper area. You can see we can barely make out bottom. Actually, honestly, from this angle, you really can't. So the little device I have works perfectly for this, and I feel super safe because every time I've been diving, the guys are right on top of me, making sure that have no issues. And I decided to make a drop, and I'm diving really good this day. And whenever you feel it, I guess you just feel it. And we're making our way across this ledge, and the ledge, it's perfect because the current is going along this ledge, and the top of the ledge is about around 80 feet, and the sand is probably 85. So I'm going right to the edge of it, kind of on the top side. I'm hoping something is below it. Now I saw something kind of scoot off in the distance, and it's kind of a smaller black grouper. Now I wasn't really paying them too much attention because I know I'm gonna go that direction, so I'm just kind of panning around. This seems like a lively part of the ledge, and I turn around and I see just past this hole right there, I see a big Goliath grouper, and that's not really a good sign because they're the king of the reef. There's really probably not going to be a whole lot around because they're a big predator in the area. But something crazy happened on this dive. So I see the big Goliath grouper, and it's really cool because one is covered in fish, but to the right I see a nice black. There's that smaller one I saw right off the beginning, but this one I'm looking at is like a 25 pounder, and I could have shot right there, but he kind of gave me the little bump. I was really hoping that he was going to slow down and be turning this corner. I thought the small one was him, but he was the bigger one that shot off, and I was almost hesitating on it because of the Goliath grouper, but honestly I should have just pulled the trigger. And now this seems like a longer dive, but this is absolutely nothing what you guys are in store for. I do some crazy deep and long dives trying to get fish on this ledge, but this was very promising to see.
like 3 giant Goliaths around it. I was trying to like line up to stone him, and he kind of started getting a little spooky, and I kept like kind of going on him. He was like, he's probably like a 25 pounder, 20. Budge! Should have shot.
You guys, that black grouper was an absolute heartbreaker. I was just being super selective, waiting for that stone shot, but sure enough, he did it. Kind of slowly spooked away. Armand ended up seeing him later on the ledge, shot, and just grazed him. So, but yeah, he's long gone, but we're gonna hit a new spot. I'm taking you guys down below. That really fired me up. So we reset a little ways ahead of where we saw all the structure. And like I said, I saw all those grouper, and I think all of them were legal, but I was just really being selective trying to go after that big one. And at this point, you know, Armand actually took a shot at that big one, and I'm kind of hoping that maybe he was crawled in a hole or might be, you know, seriously injured, and I might get a chance to see him, especially if I get a chance to find the same part of the ledge, which I actually do, which is kind of crazy. I was not expecting that, but that's on another dive. But I go all the way down to the sand and start looking off in the distance, and I'm really fired up once I saw the grouper. I know there's got to be more predator fish around. So I'm doing what I do on every dive, and it's just kind of laying down, scanning around. And there's a little bit of current, but the good thing about having this little dive beacon above me is that the guys can swim against it and know exactly where I am. So I see a mutton off in the distance. It's kind of honestly borderline. So I decide to opt out of shooting him. I know we're gonna, again, we already have some fish in the bag. We're not starving for fish. It's not worth taking a shot on a fish that's might be close. So I was honestly just hoping that fish would come into me, but unfortunately he had another agenda, and that's what a lot of the muttons were like all day. They were just kind of on their own mission. They were just doing their own thing, and we didn't have a whole lot of opportunity on mutton until the end of the day. So make sure you stay tuned towards the end. We really gonna get into some action. I learned some lessons, and some hard lessons, so it'll be good if you guys stick around towards the end. But this next drop is going to be kind of unreal, and some crazy stuff happens on it.
You're right on the ledge?
Yeah. There's muttons that are like borderline, dude. I was like staring at him. I'm like, oh, should I shoot it? I'm not sure. It was close.
Before I drop, I'm kind of looking down, and Scott just starts beelining it down to the bottom. So you'll see him in frame. I go ahead and make the drop, and as I make the drop, I'm looking and I see him just booking it to the bottom. And the reason is he's reaching out. He dropped his dive knife, and his dive knife was just sinking super fast towards the bottom. He must have saw it too late. He just came up from a dive, so he didn't want to push it and go all the way to the bottom, especially when he just came up. So he heads up to the surface, and I'm like, shoot, I'll go ahead and help him out. And also, since his knife fell, I'm kind of using it as a throw flasher. So I see it, my gun is kind of pointing towards it, and that's where I'm kind of veering. And I did a really good breathe up right before this dive. You can see his knife dropped in the sand right there, and I'm not letting it distract me. I know I'm going to land right on top of the knife, and I just go down, sit above the knife, and look out. And I see a couple mangroves, and I'm contemplating shooting them. They're not huge, but they are legal. And I haven't shot anything yet today. So I'm just sitting above his knife, looking around. Whenever I decide to head up to the surface, I'll grab it, last thing. But I'm scanning around, hoping I see a mutton. Go ahead and grab the knife. And now I see those mangroves kind of just patrolling, and they're kind of coming back. And I slowly point my gun out towards them. I'm thinking about shooting them, but then they weren't really giving me a great shot, and they start coming into me actually. So I'm like, okay, they're coming into me. I know if I'm going to want to shoot them, I can shoot them last minute. So I decided to turn around, look around for a mutton. Didn't see anything else, or at least nothing substantial comes in. So I decided to opt to shoot these mangroves. I go ahead and reach out for what I thought the biggest one was. and they start picking up speed, so I aimed a little bit ahead of it and landed a perfect spine shot on this guy. No struggling, able to pull it in, got the knife, and at this point I'm already reaching 2 minutes, and you'll see what I do at the surface, and I'll talk about it on the next drop. And thank God the guys are above me. I honestly feel good until I get a first couple breaths of air, and then you'll see, I just grab onto Scott and just tell him to hang on for just a second.
You didn't get my knife? Nice. I thought you saw that. Thank you. And a fish. Wow.
Yeah. I had to shoot a fish. Hold on.
Good?
Yeah. Yeah. You need 2 heads for this giant mangrove. It is right now? Yeah. Should we stay? Is it? Scott, he said it's marking like crazy right now.
We hop back in the boat and reset one more time. You can see the little setup I have with the little floating beacon. And we hit the spot perfectly where I saw the black grouper. So you get to see what this cave was that it was hanging out in. And again, it's another deep drop, and you guys get to join me along. So here's the timer, and go ahead and hold your breath with me. Now, one of the dead giveaways that this was the same spot was obviously the deep ledges, but that Goliath grouper that's covered in a school of like little minnow fish. And it's really cool because these fish not only are on the bottom, but they end up coming to the surface and kind of vortex around Scotty. So the next clip is a really cool one of these fish just kind of hanging around us, using us for protection at the surface. So this was a little bit of a deeper dive. It was past the ledge. It was in about 82. And I'm kind of searching under the edge, trying to see where the grouper was hanging out. I knew there were more in there, and now that ledge went pretty deep. It was dark. I know unless I had a flashlight, I wasn't gonna get in there. And also, if I did shoot a fish, I know the Goliath would come and it would be a whole ordeal. So I decided not to, especially on the last dive where I was kind of struggling a little bit. I decided not to push it. We decided to go in a little bit shallower after this and actually get on some fish. But you see, I actually pulled those fish from the cave up to me at the surface. You can see them kind of swimming around at the edges of the camera as I'm turning. I don't know if you saw them just a second ago, but they were kind of following me at the edges of the camera. And once we get to the surface, they just bounce around from diver to diver, trying to seek haven. And it's one of those cool moments when you're out diving that doesn't happen all the time, and you really enjoy it.
That's the ledge where the black was I originally saw. Hit it perfectly.
We finally decided to switch gears and start really seeing fish. Honestly, we probably stayed too long at that previous spot. It was a little deeper. We should have just changed gears, especially after making a drift or two. But seeing that one really good grouper really fired us up. So we kind of had the itch, and we had to at least try. But we decided to finally move shallower, and this was my first drop. I go down, see this kind of weird sargassum mixed in with the concrete pipes, and there's some fish, but nothing crazy when I first get down. But as I'm down, I kind of look at the turtle. I'm looking off in the distance, and I see just beyond the turtle, a nice mutton. And I see it right about now. So I start following it. Actually, it was a mangrove I was following. So I followed that mangrove for a while, and I switched from the mangrove to that nice mutton that came in. I honestly probably should have waited a little bit because he wasn't really going crazy, but I landed a decent shot and he tore out like half of his body. So it was kind of a gut shot. I saw him go in the pipe, so I was trying to make sure I kept an eye on him. But I kind of had a feeling that the current's moving, you can't see the bottom from the surface, and there's no way I'm going to be able to find this fish. He hunkered down and he's gone.
Yeah, suck.
Is that a bite?
Yeah, it's a nice one. There's a bunch of them. Make a drop.
We kept drifting even after that bummer of shooting and tearing out of that mutton, but I'm trying to make up for it on this dive. Not as much structure as before, but like I said earlier in the video, just because you're past the main part of the structure, there is a chance of debris beyond it, and that's exactly what happens on this dive. I go down, all I see is sand, but once I get down there, I can kind of see off in the distance more structure. And the fact that I'm seeing blue runners, I'm seeing some bait, I know that there's going to be a chance of mutton around. So that's exactly what happens. I pop my head up, see this mutton. I'm really going to take my time. He's kind of giving me the tail wag, and I'm only going to shoot if he goes crossways, and that's exactly what he does. I aim at the nose and hit him right through the gill plate. Now I'm extremely excited because I don't have just a baby mangrove to take home. I have a nice mutton, and you won't believe what happens once I get this mutton in the boat. Scott gets on something and just completely random. You'll have to wait to see once I hop back on the boat.
Butonian.
That is so cool. So I was really bummed that mutton tore out, but we've probably been drifting probably like 15 minutes later, way down, and Scott just saw this guy. Where is he? Dude, that's my shot that tore out. I put a big hurting on him. I knew he was a decent. He was like I didn't have to question his legality. I was like, I know he's good.
He's at least 19 inches.
Yeah, at least. He's at least 18 and a quarter. At least. No, he's good, but we can measure just reference if you want. There we go.
Dude, that head he went into was like lively.
Yeah?
There was lobster antennas coming out.
No way.
Yeah.
Was it like a artificial or actual?
It looked artificial, but it had natural growth on it. It had live
That's good, man.
on it.
See, I pre-gutted him, and then Scott just finished him off. This guy. That is a healthy looking bag.
Like that first drop, there was like.
Bro, what do you think of this fish? No, you don't have to worry about that. What do you think of this fish bag? Dude, they're so good. You can get them for like $100.
Yeah, try it out.
Some that are less than $100. I think this one's like a little, like around 100, maybe just a hair over. And this is heavy duty. Good stuff. Here is the beginning of some really unfortunate sequences. So I make a drop on this really big structure. There's some snook on it, which are illegal to spear, and then a lot of bait. And I'm kind of just hanging out there, hoping that something comes in. But this fish that I shoot on this dive ends up triggering something that happens later on another dive, and it's very unfortunate. It's a huge lesson learned by, for me, for the future, and I hope you guys learn from it too. And I'll explain as it happens. So I'm just at the top of this thing, kind of looking off into the sand, hoping something comes in, and I'm seeing all the bait, and there's so much life on this spot, but I'm shocked that there's no like muttons or grouper or anything crazy coming in and eating it. But I did see those rainbow runner when I first kind of made the drop, and I'm kind of nearing the end of my dive, so I decide, you know what, if those rainbow runner come in, I'm gonna go ahead and take this shot. They're decent size, and it's also a variety to the box. You can eat these things raw. They're absolutely delicious. Or you can also fry them or grill them, however you want, but they're kind of patrolling around, really asking to be shot. So again, I'm towards the end of my dive. Decide to go ahead and come up with something better than nothing, especially since these rainbow runners come like right into me. I did a little bit of grunting to kind of hopefully bring him in. This guy came in perfectly, landed a really good shot. And when I get to the surface, the boat's a little ways away. It's kind of a smaller fish. I didn't want to deal with swimming away from everybody and getting in the boat and losing the people. And we just started the drift. This is the beginning of the drift. So I decided to just string him up on my gun and just keep him on the edge of my gun.
Sashimi. Variety pack.
So this fish is kind of borderline, and this is what you do if you're diving fairly shallow. You're not making serious drops, and that's where we were. We were kind of in like 50-foot range. So I decided to just string him on my gun, which was a absolute horrible idea, and you'll see here in just a minute. And after everything happens, I'll go ahead and talk to you about it on the boat, but I'm going to let this clip play out, and I'll let you watch for yourself. Hold your breath with me and see kind of what goes wrong and how it goes wrong. And again, I'll fill you in after the fact once I hop back in the boat.
Big mine.
I saw your float.
Stupid! This f***ing runner f***ed me up. Stupid
So that was a horrible, heartbreaker, and idiotic thing that I just did. Instead of just giving the rainbow runner to the boat, I decided to string him up on my gun, which, you know, you can usually do. And probably the biggest mutton we've even seen all day, like a good one, probably maybe 20 to 24 inches, 24 pounds. Dude, a stud. Came right up, laced him, and that runner came off, and as I turned to grab the runner, I gave the guy slack, and he went into one of those that structure, and it just got lodged in there. And when I was in there, I was trying to like shimmy him out, trying to like give him slack and then pull him, give him slack and pull him, and it just used the Dyneema and sawed right through him, and he just swam away. It was a good shot, and even pulling, like, it kind of cut through my hand, but what an idiot. So stupid. That's on me. So dumb. Freaking learn from my mistakes. And if you have, don't, just give it to the boat. That was so disappointing, and I really didn't want to end the day on a downward or a negative note. Especially since I missed that opportunity on the black. I tore out of that mutton. Thank God that Scott was able to clean up my scraps. And this was kind of our last hoorah. It was towards the end of the day, last dive of the day. For me, I told myself, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna make one more drift, maybe one or two more dives, and this is the last dive I make of the day. So I go down, see this structure. It's a lot bigger, and it's after the fact. Even the muttons I shot, it was after. So I decided to make a drop, there's some nice mangroves cruising around. That was one right there. And it was kind of borderline, so I was like, you know what, I'm just not borderline legal, but borderline like good size. So I decided to hold off, really hoping something else comes in, because this area was pretty fishy, which is something I haven't seen in a while, especially drift in this area. So decide to opt out, and I'm really glad I did. I saw that sheep's head, and then there's a really nice mangrove that turns this corner. Land a good shot. Good holding shot, and I'm really stoked to have another variety of fish in the boat, in the box. So we got mutton, yellowjack, rainbow runners, mangrove snapper, such a huge variety, and the fish bag is looking super healthy, and I'm stoked. Shark comes in, and this is why if I would have let that fish dangle, that shark 100% would have eaten it. So that's why you saw me pull it into myself, get a hold of the fish, keep it from struggling, and head to the surface. The shark came in to see what was going on, but saw there was nothing, so he just took off, and I head to the surface with my catch.
Good structure. Nice bang.
Now that was some successful diving and very safe diving. There was a couple of times I wasn't feeling great, and I told Armand, I said, hey, watch me, you know, because I'm not feeling too hot. You know, stuck together the entire time, and that is a healthy looking variety box. Well, shall I say bag. But you guys, I couldn't be more happy with that. We are gonna send it in, we're gonna clean these fish up, and I'm gonna take you along with me. We're gonna cook them up a special way. So I'll see you guys when we get in. All right, time to start whacking the fillets off of this thing. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna cook them up. I'm taking you guys along. Due to the fact that I am about to head to the woods to go hunting in the afternoon, I have my bow and arrow, and we saw some stud catfish in the canal. And fortunately, our buddy Zeke eats the catfish, so I'm gonna try to rock one with my bow and arrow. No strings detached, and I just got one shot, and that's it. So we'll see what happens. This. I'll just get mutton and
yellowjack.
All right, are they still here? Yeah.
All right, go there. Right in.
I won't hit her. I'm not that bad of a shot.
Gotta chum them up.
Yeah. Do we have any extra stuff?
We just threw all the scraps in. I wonder.
There's some. I can see you.
There's one. Oh, you gotta be ready.
All right.
I'm ready. Here. You want me to throw a leaf in?
Oh yeah. Oh, this is hard.
This is hard.
Oh! wait.
It's right there. Oh, you got him.
Where is he?
Right there. Oh, your arrow's right there.
Oh, here, I'll follow it.
It's under the dock.
I know, he's gonna come up. He's gonna come up.
I don't know. I think he went under this way. The last I saw it went under the piling right there.
Oh no.
The dock.
Look, you see what?
The arrow started running.
Oh no. Dude, if I would have jumped in immediately. Oh no, black water. He's gonna go belly up somewhere.
You get it?
Yeah, I rocked him. And he started swimming away with my tip or my spear. Fudge. Dude, if he goes belly up, you know whose arrow that is.
Definitely nailed him. I saw him rolling. He was like,
No, I know. It's my pre warm up for hunting the outdoors. Shoot. Oh, dude, it's about to get nasty. All right, you guys, welcome back to not my house. We're actually at my boy John's house, and I always come over here because he is a master chef. And again, we're gonna put it to the test. I went ahead and diced up these fillets. I kind of cleaned them up. They had a little bit of skin, a little bit of bloodline. Those were probably the ones that Scott did. But we're gonna do a crazy recipe. I don't know, maybe not crazy. It's gonna be simple, but it's gonna be something I've never done before.
We're gonna incorporate a little bit of saffron with the fish. And here in America, it's not a real widely used seasoning or I don't know, whatever we wanna call it. We're gonna have fun with this.
Like Saffron City, the Pokemon from Pokemon. That's
Yeah, just like that.
That's what I think of whenever I hear saffron. Saffron City from Pokemon. Comment below if you know what I'm talking about. Old school Pokemon. But we're gonna walk you through it step by step, and we'll see the end result and see if it's something you want to try at home. So if you guys are like me, I was wondering what is saffron, and I kind of looked at it, and it's the main ingredient for paella. They're threads that are found in the heart of a lilac flower. So something interesting. I've never used these before, and I'm curious to see what they're all about. All right, cleaned up all the fillets. We're gonna place them in the pan. Hopefully we have more space.
We are going to essentially get some onion slices on top.
All right, so walk us through this. What
All
we
right,
got?
so we're gonna do just a real light salt, pepper, because you can't go wrong with salt and pepper. I'm actually gonna get,
I like keeping it simple like that.
now we're getting the saffron in here.
For like one little compartment's worth.
Something like that, if I can even. We're just gonna try to sprinkle, I don't know,
John, what
4 or 5 pieces on. What inspired me to
yeah,
do
what
this?
inspired this recipe?
I don't even know. I saw saffron in the store, is what happened. I went shopping. We are going to sprinkle some onions across here.
Little baby boy.
Baby JJ.
Oh, he likes that. He likes his name. He was just like,
First YouTube
was his-
cameo.
oh yeah, shout out.
And we are just gonna set these on top in here.
The most important part.
Yes, this is the most important part. I might even put more on.
What about bacon grease, John?
Not for this one, not for this one.
John
We
is
don't
the
want to
king of
take
bacon.
away from
Oh,
the
yeah.
saffron.
Yeah, but we got to keep it simple. And I do like not squeezing the lemon juice. Just doing that kind of gets like a little essence.
A little zesty
from
flavor
everything
to it.
off of the lemon onto the fish.
And we're gonna do it for 20-ish minutes.
I guess we could check it,
Yeah, we'll check it.
push it through.
We'll check it.
All right, we'll see what it looks like when it comes out.
Sorry, I should have just waited for you. Look at that saffron turning orange like that.
It's like seeping into the. Interesting.
Oh, that looks delicious.
It'll be interesting.
I wish it would have I might base some butter on it, make it infuse a little better.
All right, we have everything plated. I'm gonna give it a try, and we actually have these for it, which are pickled red onions. But I'm gonna try it first without. I do like the pickled onion idea, but I want to make sure I get some of that saffron. I want to make sure I get some of that saffron in there. So I got a nice piece right here. And some onion. I don't really taste the saffron, maybe?
Maybe I didn't put enough on, I don't know.
But it's delicious. What I really like of it is the onion. We should have put more onion on top of it.
I should have put more.
Now that I have these red onions. I love those pickled onions. It adds a lot. John beat me to it. He already finished. Saffron, what do you think?
I couldn't tell that there was saffron in it.
Yeah, next time maybe add more.
Yeah, might need to add more. I taste something, but it definitely wasn't an overpowering flavor at all, which is good because I didn't want it to be like too much.
Either way though, it was really freaking good.
If you can't tell, we
Yeah,
got
we demolished. And
Clean
there were
paint
like
club.
pieces around, and I took them all out. It was so good. Is there more?
There's a little bit more. You gonna finish it off?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish it off.
All right.
I'm gonna go ahead and get seconds of this, but thank you guys for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new, consider subscribing. Also, if you wanna do a little bit more, possibly consider becoming a YouTube member. It really helps me out a lot, and everything goes right back into the videos. But like always, I will see you guys next week for another adventure. Okay.